Valheim's Call to Arms update is now live, completely overhauling combat, adding new creatures, new armors, and weapons, but also 33 sneaky features you completely missed, like these new points of interest now found in the meadows, with rumors suggesting only a handful of these can occur on any given seed. Inside will be bone piles continuously spawning skeleton you're used to seeing in the swamps, but also a secret under the boards that we'll get to shortly. If you're logging into an existing world, you'll need to find unexplored meadows on your map for hope at finding one of these combat ruins. If having trouble locating it, input the command find combat ruin 01 to ping it on your map. The new bears found in the Black Forest are quirky and afraid of fire. If you place down a campfire, the beast will not approach. Similarly, if holding a torch, they will prepare to attack as if to hit you, but will turn direction at the last minute. If you're finding them difficult to fight, they have even more health than trolls, believe it or not. Try using a sword or fire arrows. Bears are resistant to both blunt and pierce damage, but are neutral to slash and weak to fire damage. Despite many people citing trouble finding one, their trophy drop rate is a reasonable 10%. Once you do find it, you can make a new rug that does give a comfort point and is the first rug that also functions as a seat. Bears can also be hired to work for you like previously done with trolls. If you time a dodge while near a breakable resource like trees or metal nodes, you can gain access to the precious metal without the required tools. Sadly, you won't be able to tame the bears despite the fact that they will eat certain food left near them. Don't try and force the bears to fight the new Plains Vile, however, as despite them being in different creature factions, the bear, the forest, and Vile Plains, these monsters won't fight each other, which I guess makes sense considering the Vile effectively being an undead version of the Black Forest bear. If you're looking for a 2-star version, you'll have to search at night as only a max of 1 star can be found during the day. The Vile, on the other hand, supposedly can't spawn naturally with stars according to the wiki, despite the ability to spawn in 1 and 2-star versions with commands that are noticeably larger, so the jury is still out on this one. After clearing the Black Forest and defeating the Elder, a new Vile item can be purchased from the Bog Witch. These can be combined at a level 1 workbench with loot found, ranging from the swamps all the way to the ashlands, for new blob bomb items that will summon blobs to help distract your foes. These won't be allied to you, but will take on the native faction of the creature normally found in the wild. The Ghost has had a huge visual overhaul, looking completely different and now having a brand new trophy drop and resource in ectoplasm. These will continue to be found only in the Black Forest burial chambers or the Ghost Raid, added in the previous Bogwitch update. The ectoplasm is used in the crafting of the new Twig skill training simulator, which does in fact give the player experience when hitting it, and may just make for the new best way to level up your blocking skill. Or the brand new dodge skill. This too can be leveled up against the Twig, with each dodge giving 0.025 experience and an additional 0.25 for a perfect dodge when you avoid an enemy attack. By leveling this skill to 100, you can cut stamina used by dodging in half. Be sure to treat your new battle buddy properly, because it is possible to destroy him despite his massive healing capabilities. Fortunately, if he does break, all his material is retained and can easily be reconstructed. On the other hand, the archery target intended to be used for leveling your bows and crossbows skill isn't quite as effective, giving about a third of normal experience at 35% with each hit. In my mind, you're better off finding a big creature and shooting it from a distance to level your bow skill instead. Although you do receive the benefit of safety with the target, and you'll save a ton of arrows by retrieving the successful hits. If you prefer spears, experience for this skill can also be gained by using your secondary attack on the target. Other changes to combat were made, with perfect blocks or parries now consuming 0 stamina, or combat being vastly improved on slopes with what appears to be expanded hitboxes so that you can now more easily hit enemies above and below you, and perhaps best of all, spears can now hit corpse piles with their primary attacks. The new trinkets added to the game, while originally crafted at the workbench, can now be crafted at a level 1 forge, except for the 4 trinkets derived from the Mistlands and Ashlands materials at a level 1 black forge. Worry not, the trinkets when equipped don't take up the same inventory slot as accessory items like the Wisp Light and Strength Belt, so you can wear both at the same time. You only gain adrenaline when you have a trinket equipped, with many ways of filling the new bar. 2 for a regular block with weapons or tower shields, or 1 with a one-handed shield or bow, 5 for a perfect block or successful dodge, 10 for triggering your Forsaken Power, and different amounts for every hit of an enemy creature depending on the weapon type, plus an additional 3 for staggering an enemy. For melee and ranged weapons, you get different amounts depending on if you're using a primary or secondary attack. For magic weapons, most give adrenaline on use, with the Staff of Frost yielding 1 adrenaline per hit. And for bombs, you gain 2 adrenaline if the main projectile directly hits its target. Your adrenaline bar will lose progress after a short period if leaving combat, with the amount of time shrinking to as short as 6 seconds when you're close to having the bar filled, and as long as 10 at lower adrenaline amounts. Once the adrenaline decay begins, you will lose 1 up to 4 per second at higher levels. Each of their trinkets have their own unique adrenaline threshold that once reached will trigger the trinket's effect, being as low as 10 adrenaline from the Fins of Destiny to as high as 100 in the case of the Ashlands Brimstone. 2 trinkets cannot be equipped at the same time, but if you're quick, you can switch to a different trinket after gaining the effect of 1 to secure multiple trinket perks at once. If you're a Tower Shield, Battle Axe, or Sledgehammer Enjoyer, you'll be happy to hear that the movement speed penalty for those weapon classes has been reduced, with a reduction from 20% to 15% on hammers and axes, and from 15% to 10% for all towers. 3 new hairstyles were added in the mullet, castellan, and Vinland shave, and 5 new beard styles in the mustache, handlebar, trimmed, waxed, and crumb eater. Hildir's shop got a brand new clothing item in the headband that is now available before returning any of her 3 chests. After dying in-game, you always got an indicator on your screen for skill loss protection that lasted 10 minutes, but now for the first time it will display a countdown timer showing the duration of that effect. Decorators can rejoice as the items now capable of being placed on item stands has increased with these following additions. Not to mention, you now need to hold interact to remove an item from item stands opposed to the simple click. No more accidentally attaching your hammer. Plus, a whole bunch of items can now have their orientation changed when placed on a stand for better visibility. Each of the bosses' Forsaken powers have been completely overhauled. Eikthyr now also gives reduced stamina usage while swimming in addition to running and jumping. Elder now also gives improved damage with your pickaxe as well as an increase to health regeneration. Bowmass is the only one arguably nerfed, now giving 25% reduction to physical damage instead of 50, but compensates by removing stamina cost while blocking, plus returns stamina on successful block. Motor, in addition to putting the wind at your back while sailing, increased carrying capacity by 300, movement speed by 10%, and makes you 50% less vulnerable to frost damage. Yagluth gives a huge 10% increase to all types of damage, plus 25 to your farming skill, and a 50% reduction in lightning damage. The Queen still gives 100% item regeneration, but also removes stamina usage while sneaking, and adds 50% resistance to poison. And Fodder, maybe the best of all, doubles adrenaline gain, halves your stagger meter, and gives 50% resistance to fire. 4 new weapons were added in the Bear Claws, Vile Maw Claws, Black Metal, and Skull Splitter battle axes, but also 9 collectible wooden items that might be difficult for you to find. The wooden sword is the first and only one that can be crafted at the workbench, while all others must be found in the world. The wooden axe and knife can both be found in Viking graveyards in the meadows. The mace is either in Draugr village chests, of which for me, only found in those chests hidden underneath the floor in the village's largest structures, or hidden underneath the new Comet Ruin structures. Spears can be found in the Black Forest and Greydorf Towers, or abandoned huts like these in the swamp. The sledge will be found in chests near corpse piles, either those surrounded by runestones or within stone towers in the swamp. The wooden battle axe in any mountains chest, Atgear in any plains chest, and wooden greatsword in chests found within infested mines. Keep in mind, you'll need to find unexplored map for these weapons to spawn, and all can be repaired at a level 1 workbench, but won't be very useful in combat and may be better suited as a decoration or collector's item. Now is the perfect time to dive back into Valheim, so make sure to get 30% off your first month of server hosting with DatHost using my link in the video description, and watch this video for more info on the Call to Arms update.